will we finally get to see a Nintendo Direct in the month of February? Maybe. Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get to see a Nintendo Direct in the month of February. Now I gotta say, I thought there would be one in January. A lot of people did. Normally Nintendo has an event at some point in January every year, and for whatever reason, they just didn't this time around, and it's weird, but again, Nintendo tends to be unpredictable. They like to throw us off, so maybe we shouldn't be too surprised. Now, here's the weirder thing to me personally. We got a couple smallish games in January from Nintendo that were published. For February, at least when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, there is nothing slated. And then for March, we're not getting anything until March 29th, which is Yoshi's Crafted World. That's a pretty big gap. Nintendo's been pretty consistent about having some sort of published Nintendo game coming out. It's not always a very big game, but it is at least something. And yet there's nothing. So I think that's very peculiar. I wonder if there was originally supposed to be a Direct in January, but for whatever reason, it was delayed. Maybe it could be related to the restart of Metroid Prime 4's development. Maybe they were going to reveal Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, but then they decided to push up the date. Maybe originally Metroid Prime Trilogy HD was going to take up the February slot, but they decided to change around when that game is actually going to come out this year because of the Metroid Prime 4 delay. I think that's possible, and maybe that could be why the January Direct didn't happen. It's also possible that Nintendo just didn't want to do a January Direct, or maybe something else altogether. It's hard to say. But nevertheless, I do feel like there needs to be more information coming out from Nintendo. They need to answer some questions, that we need more dates, we need more information on games. So I feel like a Nintendo Direct is inevitable. And February might be the date. There are some rumors out there that are suggesting something similar. So King Zell from Reset Era, who has a very pristine track record, is hinting something about the number 13. A lot of people are suggesting that could be actually the next Nintendo Direct. I would like that to be the case, but here's the thing. I checked my calendar, and the 13th is a Wednesday. Normally Nintendo Directs aren't on Wednesdays. Now, does that mean that it can't happen? No, it has happened before, but usually Nintendo Directs take place on Thursdays, so for that reason alone, I'm a bit skeptical. And at the same time, King Zell did not specify that the 13th was related to a Nintendo Direct. He was just hinting something about the number 13. So the Nintendo Direct might not be happening the 13th. It could be another date, but I do think there's a pretty good chance it could happen in February, and if it doesn't, I mean, I guess March has to be it, right? Of course, like, how much longer could we possibly go? We're already stretching beyond the limit here. But whenever we do see the Nintendo Direct, which I am going to bet is going to happen sometime this month now, I think it's going to be a pretty damn good Direct because we have waited a long time, which means there are more announcements to make. So, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys what predictions I'm actually going to make. Now, there are some things that are sort of shaping these predictions, one of which is this recent leak list that has come out. Now, I'm not necessarily sure about the actual dates. I'll just go ahead and say them. There's this retailer who's predicting or saying, revealing, leaking information, suggesting that Luigi's Mansion 3 will come out July 19th, Animal Crossing is coming out September 13th, and that Daemon Ex Machina is coming out May 24th. I think all of these dates make sense. They are possible. It could be the case they're all coming out on Fridays, which is usually what Nintendo does. It's possible this is true, but at the same time, it happens all the time where there's some sort of retailer leak that suggests a release date, and it turns out to not be true. One great example is Metroid Prime 4 for November 29, 2019. We now know there's no way in hell that is happening. But I do like the idea that Daemon Ex Machina could be coming out before E3. Daemon Ex Machina was revealed last E3, and we've seen it since. I don't think Nintendo's going to show off a game in gameplay form more than one E3. There are the rare exceptions, but in general, I feel like that's a good rule of thumb to go by. Most Nintendo games are only going to be shown off at one E3 before getting revealed. So I would say May is actually probably a pretty likely period for Daemon Ex Machina to come out. I was thinking it might come out a bit earlier, but now that we're in February, it doesn't look like it's going to be coming out this month, and Yoshi's coming out in March, so maybe May is the right time for that game. And for that reason, I do think Daemon Ex Machina is going to be at the next Nintendo Direct. Now, another game that I expect to be at the Nintendo Direct is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. You see, the Avengers is coming out not too long from now, and I'm pretty sure they're going to want Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 to come out around that time because it's a Marvel game that has the Avengers in it, and it's an Avengers movie. There's a huge amount of earnings potential there, sales potential there. Both the movie and the game should come out pretty close to each other. There's a lot more money to be made there. I feel like that's pretty likely. Now, Emily Rogers recently said there would be several games coming out this year, some of which would be Wii U ports, some of them are mysterious Nintendo games that she knows about apparently, and I do believe her, and she's being pretty secretive here. She's not really telling us what they are, she's just giving us hints, so I'm not really entirely sure what they could be. But I do think one of them is likely to be a Pikmin 3 port. Pikmin 3 was a pretty good game on Wii U. Yes, we've gotten a lot of Wii U ports. I don't think that's going to stop. I do believe Pikmin 4 is still in development, and I think it would be a good time to see a Pikmin 3 port. And it would be really good to see on the Nintendo Switch, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see Pikmin 3 as a designated Wii U port for this Nintendo Direct. Now, this is an obvious one. I think if we do get a Nintendo Direct before March 29th, when Yoshi comes out, I do believe we will see Yoshi's Crafted World one more time, and they may show off another level or something like that, or just have a quick trailer to continue to hype up the game. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is the pretty easy prediction because the game's already has a release date, so there you go. Now, one game we haven't heard about for quite a while is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I do think this game is coming out. I don't think it's a late holiday game. Usually the Fire Emblem games come out somewhere between the April and June time periods. So I wouldn't be shocked if Fire Emblem Three Houses is announced this month to come out somewhere between April and June. I think there's a high likelihood of that happening. And I do believe we're going to finally get to see this game in a more completed form. Hopefully it looks and runs better. When we first saw it, I thought it still needed some work, but of course, they were still working on the game. I expect the game to look and run really well now. I'm excited to see how this game is going to pan out, and I feel pretty confident in saying that this game could be coming out within a couple months. Now I'm predicting one more remaster to be shown off at this Nintendo Direct, and that is Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. Now, I did speculate that maybe Metroid Prime Trilogy HD was held off a little bit, or they were going to show it off sooner, but I do believe Nintendo thinks it is necessary to have this game come out this year. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they hold it off for a whole other year, but a lot of Metroid fans have been clamoring for this. It will be a good time to soften the blow of the Metroid Prime 4 delay, and I think Metroid Prime Trilogy HD is already done from what we've heard. Imran Khan, the senior editor from Game Informer who would have inside sources, has said that the game has been done. It was supposed to be revealed in December. It wasn't. Apparently they were planning on releasing the game in the first half of 2019, and if that is still the case, I do think that Metroid Prime Trilogy HD probably should be revealed at a February Nintendo Direct. Now, I got one more game I'm predicting. There have been tons of release date leaks and rumors and all this other suggestions. I don't know about any of that. I don't know, but I'll tell you this, I think it makes sense for Animal Crossing to come out somewhere between early summer and early fall. Like, there's like a 3 to 4 month window where Animal Crossing could come out, in my opinion, around the midway point of the year. I think they need to space it out a few months away from Pokemon, because both of these games are probably going to sell over 10 million copies like they did on the 3DS. Even on the Switch, the games are selling even better than that. So Nintendo's going to want to space these games out. Both of these games are way bigger than any other game coming out this year when we're just talking about sales alone. So I do believe there's going to be a bit of a space between them. Pokemon always comes out in November, at least that's the way it's been in the last 5 years or so. So I still expect Pokemon to come out in November, and I do believe Animal Crossing is going to come out mid-2019, which means February might be the right time to give us its first gameplay reveal to begin that legitimate hype cycle for Animal Crossing. And those are my predictions for this next Nintendo Direct. I think we're going to see Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, Daemon Ex Machina, Animal Crossing, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Yoshi's Crafted World, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and a Pikmin 3 port. But what about third-party games? What about Smash and the DLC? Well, let's talk about that too very quickly. So in terms of ports, I do believe we will see Doom. There is a Doom game coming to the Nintendo Switch. I think we'll finally get some gameplay for that, maybe. I also think they'll probably announce a Persona 5 port. I think it's probably about time to announce that, especially if they're going to show Joker gameplay at this next Nintendo Direct, and I think that would be pretty crazy. It's about time. Piranha Plant is already out and available for fans to play and use, so they can now move on to hyping up Joker from Persona 5. So let's get the reveal for a Persona 5 port and the reveal of how Joker will play in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And those are all of my predictions for this Nintendo Direct. I'm not predicting Pokemon because normally Pokemon gets its reveal in its own Direct, and I do believe since this is a new generation of Pokemon, like it always has been, they will start hyping up this game earlier than later, so there could be another Direct coming in the not so distant future that isn't a main Nintendo Direct, but is actually its own Pokemon Direct. But that's it. Those are all of my predictions for what's going on so far right now, guys. There are other games that I think are in the works or maybe in the works, like Star Fox Grand Prix, a 2D Zelda, maybe even some sort of Mother 3 remake or remaster. I know, that may sound crazy. I'll put a video in the end screen and the little eye at the top if you want to check that video out so you can see my reasoning for that one. But there's some pretty cool stuff in the works for Nintendo. A lot of the legitimate leakers are saying some really good things. When I say legitimate leakers, I mean people who have very proven track records. For example, Emily Rogers, while she did get the Mother 3 localization wrong, she got everything else right, like Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Pokemon Let's Go, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the NX or the Nintendo Switch itself. So I do take these people very seriously, and I do think there's a lot of really good games to come in the nearby future, especially when you take a look at how the trend of published Nintendo games coming out every year has been moving up for the Nintendo Switch. I think this is going to be a really big year, and I think there's a lot to be excited about. But anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching. I'm really curious what you guys have to say, so let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.